What is up, guys? DT Ninja here to give my RuroKen Hokkaido Arc Chapter 45 discussion. Okay, guys, we're going to get right into it. I have several discussion questions for this chapter, and hopefully they bring some interesting points that maybe you didn't think of. Okay, the first one. What was the real reason that Abe joined the fight against Hyobe? Now, obviously, the main reason you would think would be because of the Shinsengumi, right? In the past, the Goryo Eiji and the Shinsengumi, they met before, and they were defeated by the Shinsengumi. So this really set Abe off. The fact that he lost his mentor, Hattori Sensei, right in front of his eyes, this had to have been a traumatic thing to happen. But it really wasn't about revenge. That's not the real reason why he joined this fight. Now, that may have been his motivation, the hatred for the Shinsengumi. That is his motivation. In fact, Saito and Nagakura both state this, that the hatred for us is driving him, which is interesting, because that really gave us a very interesting, part with Abe. So that is a motivation. Now, he wanted to bring honor to his comrades. That was the real reason why he joined the fight. And it was about pride. He wanted to show that the Goryo Eiji was strong. They highly underestimated the Goryo Eiji, the Shinsengumi did. So in this fight, I feel like the Shinsengumi, both Nagakura and Saito, learned to respect Abe. So that is what the purpose that, if that wasn't the purpose, that was the result. They did learn to respect him. Now, obviously, Abe still holds deep resentment towards the Shinsengumi, especially Hajime Saito, but that is only the motivation for him driving forward. It could be the driving force for him to jump in, but really the one thing is to bring honor, to show his strength. And another thing is that he's been on the sidelines. Goryo Eiji in the Abara no Koji incident, he was on the sidelines. Remember, he was about to go out and fight for his, and possibly sacrifice himself. And Hattori says, "No, stand back. Everything is at an end here. You need to, live on in the new era." And that was one of the moments that really he didn't understand. He felt like a failure, right? Over and over. First it was Abara no Koji, and then the revenge where he's supposed to shoot down the Commander Kondo. His own comrades pushed him aside and he wasn't able to participate. So again, the failure, being on the sidelines, that is what really drove him. So failures, his own failures, and Goryo Eiji's failures really got to him. Over and over, his own failures just kept coming. And that hatred was the motivation that finally drove him into the battlefield. That's my feeling. That's really what decided it for him. Now, the repeated failures did change him. You see a more bitter Abe, but throughout, we see the development, and truly we learn that Abe was stuck in the past. He felt like this battle was Abara no Koji. It wasn't in Sapporo. It was in Kyoto. So that was also another interesting thing. He's actually fighting with the mindset of Kyoto, not Sapporo. So that's another interesting thing. But yeah, that's my feeling on the whole thing. He also had a perfect chance to take out Nagakura and Saito because they're facing this monstrous man and they were basically vulnerable. But instead of attacking them, he stepped in to help and basically tried to shoot, Hyobe in the back of the head. Yes, it didn't work, but at the same time, I'm glad he did because he made it way more interesting. Especially since he's a gunman and not a swordsman. But that was interesting to see. Yeah. Okay, number 2. Was the hidden gun that Abe possessed in his glove, was that meant for Saito? Originally, was it meant for Saito? Yes and no. So yes, I believe for years and years, Saito, the hatred for Saito and Nagakura was so strong, it was a driving force. His motivation to just continue getting stronger, getting more precise with his shots, that was a motivation. I feel like maybe he had the hidden gun away for Hajime Saito. Was he gonna fire on him? Probably not. He's a government official that probably wouldn't even do anything. But he was waiting for the moment where they would fight, and maybe his opportunity would come. But at that moment, he didn't fire on him. Right? He decided to help and decided to show his strength. So I feel like maybe that final gun was for Saito, because when he asked him, when he said, "You're the reason why I had this put in. You were the ones who ambushed Kashitaro Ito and also Hattori Sensei." Now remember, Saito and Nagakura attacked him at the same time, and Harada came from behind. So it really was kind of an ambush strategy in that moment, and that's what Abe remembers. And the moment he saw that, he remembers Saito, and that's something that was a driving force. That was his motivation. So, but he used it in a life or death situation, which was awesome, by the way, in this chapter. That made a really shocking moment for this chapter. Really awesome. Okay, number 3. How in the world did Eiji Mishima hit Hyobei on target? So I've been thinking about this. This guy is he's 17 years old. He's not really that skilled. Abe is a marksman. The reason why he shot through Hyobei's hand is because he was an expert, and also he timed it perfectly. But Mishima is not. He was on the clock tower, right? He had the binoculars. He was watching, but those binoculars did belong to Abe. Maybe there was something else along with those binoculars that Abe left, because Abe had something there and he left them there. He left the binoculars there, but maybe there was something there that actually helped Mishima fire on the enemy. And maybe Abe did it as a last resort. Maybe he did it. Maybe he knew that maybe if something comes to this kid will come. I don't know. Maybe he thought that far in advance. I don't know, but it's possible that there was some kind of tool in there that could help him enhance his shot. That's my feeling. But what do you guys think? Number 4, why do you think Matasuke couldn't defend himself? So Saito comes in the fight very, very casually, just walking through the debris, and he's like, he can't defend himself for some reason. And then he looks on, and you see policemen firing on him. You see these swordsmen attacking him, and he's like, well, that's interesting. There seems to be some kind of, problem here that he's having. So he just picks up Mataza's blade, which is his older brother's blade, and then he does the Gototsu stance, and then he just strikes him. He thrusts him, and then he just right through his defenses, right through the sword. It was awesome. It was great to see Saito finally get a win and finally get his moment. That was awesome. But why? Why can't he defend himself? Well, there's this part where Nagakura and the older brother Mataza are talking, and he assumes, because of Mataza saying that Matasuke is stronger than me in attack power, he says that maybe that means he's weak in defense. And his brother kind of has this really concerned and stoic look. And so that tells me that maybe even the younger brother cannot defend himself. Complete defenseless. He's defenseless, in other words. He's basically fighting blind because he doesn't have any defense. Before, he was unstoppable because he had the brother defending him. But now he's just look at me, I'm a target. And that's why Saito was able to attack him and basically hit the mark. But that's my feeling. I think the brother was completely his defense, and he was out of no defense at all. So, but without him, it's complete chaos. And that's why you see like the spiraling, there's no control over the sphere. Remember how there was a sphere that was surrounding them? Like, and it was complete attack power and it was just slicing enemies up. Yeah, that was part of the defense as well. That was the control the brother had. But when his arm got cut off, that control was completely zero. And that's why he said, even with one arm, I cannot continue. We will lose. So that's why he left it to his brother. But he must have known that he was not going to, make it out of there. So that's also why he told his brother. Actually, he didn't even tell his brother. He didn't even tell Nagakura what happened. Nagakura figured it out, that you protected your brother. You pushed him out of the way so that that the older brother would lose his arm and protect the younger brother from dying or even getting cut in half. So that's a pretty interesting thing, and that's my feeling on it. What do you guys think? All right, the last question. Was Hyobei's dual blade Haori or Nijin Baori, his battle armor, his battle style, was that two separate powers to begin with? In other words, was it a hint that they were two people all along? I was thinking about this because like dual blades represent the scythe blades, right? The Shinigami, the attack power of Matasuke, right? And then you have the Haori, or the protector, the older brother who protects him, the shield, right? So we have the shield and we have the weapon. So right there you have two separate, tools. And yes, I do believe that is kind of a hint at that, yes, they were two people. Another one was that we saw two separate eyes. Now, two separate sets of eyes. In other words, one was like spiraling and the other one was different. It was kind of shining through. It was a little different from the other one. So we got a little hint there. And then, of course, their name, Futatsu Hyobei. Futatsu literally means two people, but the kanji didn't actually have for people, so it was a little confusing. So Futatsu can mean two people. It can mean two, actually. It just means two. But actually, what it actually meant is they're twins. They're brothers. So anyways, that's what I figured out. And like I said, we learned that Matasa saved his younger brother, a very noble sacrifice, which, by the way, saved his own life because Nagakura said, I'm going to spare your brother for this noble sacrifice. So anyways, guys, that is my chapter discussion. I hope you guys enjoyed. There will be a chapter 46 review coming soon. I have the scans for that. So I will see you guys in the next one.